So for the first part, AD is this stretch right here, which is the same as the other side. And we know that because we're told we're given a kite. So otherwise we couldn't really say that. But kite specifically tells us that these two are the same. These two are the same, right? So there are your answers, half a mark for each of them. And then it's asking us for AC, which is this part right here, as well as DB, which I call Y. Okay. So there you have your two stretches. So I'm using this bottom part here, and notice that angle C is, I wrote it out here because it was going to be too messy on there. So that 54 I put here. So it's a SAS scenario. You just write it out like that, and you get 7.38 for that one. I'd give you 2 marks for finding the short diagonal, and 2 marks for finding that long diagonal there. And notice that the 100 is the whole thing here. So I just bring that over and fill in the pieces. That's another SAS cosine law for both, 2 marks for each. Okay. Do we have at least a few people that got this? Anybody got this? Yeah, Genesis. And this? You got this? Okay. All right. Then the area is just taking the 2 answers you got. So if you got this wrong, if you got the 2 diagonals, if they're wrong, but you're using those 2 numbers here, divided by 2, you get full marks for this one, regardless of what happened up there, because you know you're supposed to multiply the diagonals divided by 2. You get full marks. You get 1. Yeah, if you use the right formula, you get a mark. Next, which of the diagonals would bisect? And you have to know that it's the shorter one. So whatever you got for your shorter diagonal, if I see that you split it in half and you get a number that's half of what the short diagonal is, you get the mark here as well. Because remember, we're checking for understanding, and that would show me you understand what's happening. Yeah. Right. So half and half. I would say, you know what, if you just show me that you're taking the shorter one, dividing it in half, that I would also just give you full marks for that question. Because you're telling me essentially that it's the shorter one that needs to be bisected. Classify ABC by side length and angle measure. So I snuck one in there. And if you look at, let's look at the original real quick. ABC, it's this one. ABC, it's this triangle right here. Okay, so I cut that out and I copy down the numbers, and there's the 100 in there, which, remember, a triangle can only ever have one obtuse angle. So if this is an obtuse angle, then this is the longest side, right? So we know it'll be longer than 813. So we can just by looking at it by observation, we can conclude it's obtuse scalene. Scalene, obtuse, scalene, doesn't matter. And so this page is worth 8 marks for that reason. So I hope you did all right. Even if you didn't, just learn right now and move on. So here's an isosceles trapezoid. I'm telling you that right at the beginning. And to find x, to find this, you need to subtract the long, right? You go long minus short, right? And then you split it in half because you technically have another x right here. And you've got two, if you subtract, you've got an x here and an x there. That's why we divide by 2. On a right trapezoid, you would not divide by 2. You just subtract. Then I want to find the height here. And obviously, if you get this wrong, it could be that you're unable to solve this, right? But I would honor if you make a mistake here, but you use that here, uh, I would give you full marks for it essentially. So we have hypotenuse minus leg squared. You root it, you get 8.28. It's technically what you should be getting there. And then to get the area again, this would be completely separate from what you got here. So let's say you got a completely different answer. If you use that height here to calculate the area, you would get full marks here, provided that if I type in what you have written actually amounts to what it should be. So you add the short and the long times the height. Make sure you do this first. 12 plus 20, 32 times 8.28 divided by 2, you get that for your area. And last, you had to sketch and either state underneath or just use markings. This is my parallelogram. So I stated the fact that all four sides, two pairs of sides are congruent and that the diagonals bisect. You could also have just stuck with parallel, right? This is parallel to that. This is parallel to that. It's up to you. Right trapezoid, you've got to have your 90s and the parallel symbol here for these two sides. A right isosceles triangle, I have your right angle there and then two sides that are the same. Rhombus, all four sides are the same. The diagonals meet at a 90. A square, all four sides are the same. The corners are 90. Yeah. Yeah. Today, for this particular, we'll just go 0.5. Yeah. So this page is 9. Is worth 9. The front is 8. So that gives us 17 in total. We're good? Name and last name on there, please. I'll take this in. And I want to keep going a little bit with the polygons yet.